Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, March 1, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, in order to save time, because you know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer models that came out today. So keep your eyes focused right here at the top. That's the timestamp as we go to the next 168 hours. That's the next 7 days. And keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represent inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. As we head into Sunday morning, what do we see across the island? Not much of anything. But it's by afternoon that we see that rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes in the greens. Then we head into Monday. We see rainfall encircling the island. 6Z, that's 1 a.m. on Monday. Very interesting. 7 a.m. on Monday, we still see rainfall encircling the island. Some of this rainfall might even come on land. Then by Monday afternoon, we see that rainfall across the island, eastern, central, and western parishes. Tuesday morning, look at that rainfall across northern parishes. Then by afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Wednesday morning, what do we see? Not really much of anything in the morning. Maybe some isolated showers in the far eastern end. Then by Wednesday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Let's see what's going to be happening on Thursday. Not seeing much for Thursday morning, but we do see the long line of showers associated with a possible frontal system extending from the waters to the east of the US all the way down to the Bahamas, Cuba, and Central America. Heading into Thursday afternoon, that's where we see the isolated afternoon rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Friday, we see some of that moisture associated with the frontal system starting to come into portions of Haiti, eastern Cuba, Jamaica, and portions of Honduras and Nicaragua. Then by Friday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. I'm going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Saturday, March 8th. And we can see the moisture associated with that frontal system extending from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to portions of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, portion of Jamaica, into portions of the Central America region. Let us match what we just saw on the latest Euro to the latest GFS. Let's see if we have some consensus. Heading into Sunday morning, not seeing much, but it's Sunday afternoon that we see the rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Monday morning, we see some rainfall across sections of the waters surrounding the island. Then, as we head into Monday afternoon, we see that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Tuesday morning, some rainfall across the northeastern end. Tuesday afternoon, rainfall eastern, central, and western parishes. Wednesday morning, rainfall surrounding the island. Wednesday afternoon, rainfall across sections of eastern, northern, and western parishes. Heading into Thursday morning, we see the long line of showers associated with the frontal system of the east coast of the US, extending down to the northern Bahamas, Cuba, and Central America. And we see that by Thursday afternoon, we see some rainfall across sections of some eastern, southern, and western parishes. Friday morning, we see some of that moisture associated with the frontal system extending down into portions of the Turks and Caicos, southern Bahamas, eastern Cuba, Haiti, section of Jamaica, and maybe even portions of Central America. But it's not as robust as what the Euro was showing for the same time period. And then as we head into Saturday, we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. And yes, we can still make out the moisture associated with that frontal system, but it is not as robust as what the Euro is showing right here. But it is somewhere there. It is a bit faint, but it is definitely there. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, according to the year and the GFS Supercomputer model run, we can see right here that we have a lot of rainfall expected for portions of Colombia. We see the dark reds into the purples into the pinks for sections of Panama, sections of Colombia, western Venezuela, southern Venezuela getting in on some of the action. We also see that on the GFS, so we definitely have the consensus for agreement in terms of that rainfall total. Definitely a lot of rainfall expected across portions of northern South America, even section of Suriname, French Guyana getting in on the mix. And we can also see the yellows into the oranges and the reds across portions of the Caribbean. So anywhere from maybe St. Vincent to the Grenadines, Barbados northward, we're talking about St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, sections of Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, the US and British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, eastern Cuba, the southern Bahamas, sections of Jamaica into portions of eastern Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, sections of Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula, getting in on some of that. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this total accumulated precipitation forecast. But if we focus our attention a bit on Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation, we can clearly see that over the next 7 days, from now all the way up until Saturday, March 8th, there's definitely going to be rainfall across the island. And we see that it's more so in the afternoon that is expected. Across eastern, central, and western parishes, we see the greens into the yellows that we know represent anywhere from 15 millimeters of rainfall up to at least maybe 30 millimeters of rainfall. GFS is a bit more reserved this evening, just going up into the greens that represents the 15 to maybe 25, close to 30 millimeters of rainfall range. Either way, whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see a ridge of high pressure to the north that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can see broken orange lines right here to the north of Puerto Rico associated with a trough, another trough right here across portion of the Bahamas, and we see a frontal system across portions of the United States right there. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of the entities that we just mentioned. The clouds associated with the trough to the north of Puerto Rico, the clouds associated with the other trough currently affecting portions of the Bahamas, and the clouds associated with the frontal system possibly still affecting portions of the US as we speak. And we can make out the low to mid-level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. And we know some of these clouds pushing through the Caribbean from east to west definitely have some moisture within them. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Saturday, March 1, 2025. It was stated that rainfall would have been in the forecast for parts of eastern Jamaica on Saturday morning, also affecting sections of some central and western parishes during Saturday afternoon. And we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, and we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? Although no post was made in the morning, especially because there were no clouds bringing any rainfall to eastern parishes, a post was made during the afternoon, and this post was made here not only on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but it was also made on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. We can see the visible satellite image that was posted at around 3:51 p.m. highlighting the clouds bringing overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, to sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, section of St. Elizabeth, southern St. James, southern Trelawney, section of northern Manchester, section of northern Clarendon, southern St. Anne, sections of St. Andrew, Kingston might have gotten some of the action too, sections of maybe southwestern Portland, northwestern St. Thomas right there near the Blue Mountain peaks, definitely gotten on some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers. And as the day progressed, and we started to lose the sunlight, we were even seeing some upper level wind shear pushing the high cool cloud tops off towards the east northeast just as predicted, and even while we're losing the sunshine, we're still getting a nice amount of clouds, bringing some overcast skies, if not some rainfall, to sections of the western and even sections of some western portions of some central parishes before all was said and done. And if we take a look at the total accumulated precipitation, well, not the total accumulated precipitation, but the infrared close-up satellite imagery right here, we can see the confirmation, we can see the convection, the high cold cloud top, not necessarily cold, but definitely high enough for there to be upper level wind shear blowing the high cloud tops, those cumulonimbus cloud tops out towards the east northeast, and the blues and the greens, as we can see here from the key on the right. We can make out the sparkling white dots that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, across sections of northeastern St. Elizabeth, northwestern Manchester, southern Trelawney. The cockpit country in general definitely got the brunt of today's afternoon convection. And we see that there are still some milky whitish shades representing some low to mid-level clouds across the western end. They'll bring some overcast skies, if not some rainfall, to those areas. And if we take a look right here at the Crossroads camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, we can see that it was definitely sunny for the most part here. People walking about, going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business. Definitely fair conditions at around 3:25 p.m. for sure. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation, let us see what it is showing for Jamaica. What did we see regarding this one right here from the CIMH? That's the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website. Did it actually verify? Seems like it in a way, mainly across sections of central and western parishes. Nothing too significant though, but it does paint quite the picture of where we had that rainfall today. Taking a look at some of the comments that came in from some of our followers, we have Lawrence Davidson 6195 stating great sunshine today in Mobay. My solar power batteries got fully charged. Even on our Tik Tok page, we had another user stating in the eastern part of Portland very sunny and blue sky. Even on our Instagram page, we had some comments coming in from Blessed Kiera Rain for 2 minutes in Portmore earlier this evening. Sean Lovrich, rain in the rural parts of St. Andrew. We have _Cancer Ian stating rain in Halfway Tree. And even on our Facebook page, we had Shadi Atkinson, overcast in Westmoreland. And on our Twitter page, we had Fest Genius, cloudy but almost rainfall. Let us reload the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let's see what's happening right now. The latest still image is showing 0045 UTC, which is actually 7:45 p.m. So this just came out 9 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:54 p.m. now. And we can still make out some of these clouds across the southern and western end of the island. Pretty sure that somebody is getting some overcast skies blocking out the stars, if not the moon tonight, if not some isolated showers across sections of maybe Trelawney, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, maybe St. Catherine. Confirm for me in the comments down below. Let me know what's happening right now. And unfortunately, we don't have the Cuban Doppler radar imagery right here to confirm. Been glitched out for the past week, if not 2 weeks. Jamaican radar has been glitched out for years now, boy. So we have to be dependent on the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery right here, showing some amount of rainfall to the north of Guantanamo across eastern Cuba, some isolated shores across the southwestern peninsula of Haiti. Taking a look at the Cayman radar, we can actually make out some of that rainfall that we saw on the infrared satellite image. Look at this across portion of maybe southern Trelawney, northern Manchester. I think I saw some blues, if not some greens. They represent some light to moderate rainfall right there in the central portion of the island. You also see some isolated shores right here to the south of the Cayman Islands too. Taking a look at what's happening right now in terms of See Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing the flat bridge in St. Catherine. We can see that as of the latest time period, 7:56 p.m., We have people in their vehicles going about their business. Definitely dry conditions being experienced across the Rio Cobra region in Bogwalk, St. Catherine as we speak. And as I've stated before, if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, or it should be getting there as the evening progresses. And by about 4 a.m. on Sunday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday. We can see Jamaica right here embedded in some slight orange colors that we can see from the key on the right that represents up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperature for the month of March across Jamaica is around 87.2 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about the same as 30.7 degrees Fahrenheit, 30.7 degrees Celsius when we convert that from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So given the 1 degree Celsius above normal temperature rise for Sunday, it should be anywhere from 30.7 to 31.7 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on a Sunday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here to highlight from my JPS Online's Twitter page. And that we have to highlight these because when we have power outages, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Sunday, March 2, 2025. We're referring to Jacks River Road, Hamilton Mountain, Eden Park, Kidland, Days Mountain, Mason Hall in the parish of St. Mary from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., as well as Fletcher's Avenue and Linstead in the parish of St. Catherine from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Either way, we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. So if tomorrow is a bit too hot for you, ensure that you dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of drinking lots of water throughout the day. Even if you're not thirsty, drink lots of water and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. I know the dry air is responsible for putting a cap on the Atlantic, making it harder for it to rain. So we can see that it's very stable, dry air across the entire Atlantic. The most dry air is across the waters of the main development region right here, with all of the dark reds and dark oranges and reds. But we see that we have the low end of the scale in terms of dry air in the yellows across portions of the Bahamas and the Caribbean, which explains why it has been so moist in the afternoon recently. We also see the most moist air across the eastern Pacific and the intertropical convergence zone right here to the east of Brazil and French Guiana. And if you take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Sunday, you can make out some slight brown colors that we know represent some Saharan dust across the waters of the main development region, seeping into portion of the eastern Caribbean. And we're glad that we're not seeing a dark shade of brown because we know that means a vigorous plume that can cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons, asthma, sinusitis. So we're glad that this is the forecast for 2 p.m. on Sunday. Not much in the way of Saharan dust at all. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see the light shades of blues to dark shades of blues extending from the Gulf into the Bahamas, the northwestern Caribbean, including Jamaica. That represents anywhere from 0.5 for meter wave height all the way up to maybe 1.5 meter wave height. While we're seeing more dark shades of blues into purples and pinks from the southwestern Caribbean to the central to the eastern Caribbean, especially to the east of the Caribbean. That's where we have the 1.5 to 2, maybe all the way up to maybe even 3 meter wave heights for sure. And that's because of the winds that are expected. Not so strong winds across this area, across the Bahamas, the southeastern Gulf, northwestern Caribbean, and the greater Antilles. Seeing more dull greens and blues that represents anywhere from 5 knots, maybe up to 10 knots at most. While bright shades of greens into the slight yellows that represents anywhere from 15 to 20, maybe even gusting to 25 knots across much of the eastern to the central and southwestern Caribbean, coming in from the east for the most part. And if we close in on Jamaica's wave forecast, we can see it's going to be up to at least 0.5 of a meter wave height on the north coast, south coast up to 0.9 of a meter wave height. And that's because of the winds that are expected tomorrow. Up to 4 knots from the east on the north coast, up to 7 knots from the east on the south coast. and we can see that we don't have much winds across the eastern, central, western inland portion of the island. So that's where we could have that air piling up and giving us some daytime heating rainfall. And with the upper level wind still coming in from the west southwest, if not from the southwest. If we get some more convection, we might just see some more of this tomorrow. Some of the high cloud tops being sheared off towards the east, northeast, towards the northeast for sure, if we get some thunderstorm activity. And if we take a look at the actual rainfall forecast maps now, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that at around 4 p.m. we should be getting in on some amount of rainfall. Look at the blues that represent rainfall across the eastern, central, and western portions. We see that across northwestern St. Thomas, southwestern Portland, section of Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Mary, section of northern St. Catherine, southern St. Anne, southern Trelawney, section of northern Clarendon, section of Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, southern St. James, maybe southeastern Hanover getting on some of the action. Kind of definitely have the consensus, as you can see here on both the Euro and the GFS models. And even the accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that it should be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours, as both maps right here are showing the total accumulated rainfall that's expected. The Euro going all the way up to 0.45 of an inch of rainfall, the GFS going all the way up to 0.37 of an inch of rainfall. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and whatever occurs, we'll definitely take it. Because we're in March, we're in the driest month of the year. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to 10 millimeters of rainfall for March. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to 2.2 inches of rainfall for the month of March. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the month of March or for the entire year in terms of rainfall, you can visit www.weather-and-climate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters or receive on the rain gauge. You know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have some low to mid-level clouds being steered from east-west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. Definitely have some moisture coming through the islands as we speak. And let us see with our own eyes on the Doppler radar imagery. Let's see what's taking place near Puerto Rico as we speak. Some isolated showers across southeastern Puerto Rico as of 7:55. Some isolated showers to the east of Antigua and Barbuda as well. Some rainfall right here to the southwest of Puerto Rico, to the southeast of the Dominican Republic. Even some rain bands right here to the northeast of there. And if we actually load these images from earlier today, we were looking at around 210, and we're getting some rainfall across portions of northwestern Puerto Rico. Section of eastern and central Puerto Rico got some of the action too. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, some isolated hit or miss showers coming through from the east. Section of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada. See those rain bands pushing from east to west. Grenada definitely going to be getting nailed. Tobago possibly already getting some rainfall, maybe even Trinidad. Excuse me. Let's see. The weather web Doppler radar images showing some amount of rainfall across section of Colombia right there. Don't see much rainfall anywhere else, but if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that it's going to be raining across portion of the Bahamas, section of eastern Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, section of Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, section of Panama, section of Colombia, western and southern Venezuela, section of Trinidad, section of Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique getting on some of the action too. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.